Fight Fiend Forecast. I'm Joseph, the host, back to do my full card predictions and betting breakdown for UFC Vegas 82, Brendan Allen, and Paul Craig. It's going down at the Apex, and we got 13 fights, 1 cancellation. Cesar Almeida, he's headed for surgery after an infection, so him and Christian Leroy Duncan are scrapped. So that's first to note on this card. And before we start the party with the predictions, let's actually start the party with the Pink Whitney. So let's have a shot, everybody. If you don't drink, just sit back, relax, enjoy. If you smoke blunts, light the blunt up. Let's have some fun here. I'm going to pull up my picks really quick from last week. UFC 295. We went 8-4-1. Lock of the week still alive. So let's keep that going. Let's keep it hot. Nazim Sadikov went to a majority draw, giving us PTSD. Rinat Fakhrdinov almost had the round 2 finish, then went to a majority draw. Now Nazim Sadikov almost had a round 2 finish, went to a majority draw. So let's slam this shot back and talk about a few things from last week. Last week, the first thing I want to say is, if you listen to the prediction show, I said I had a weird feeling about Mackenzie Dern and Jessica Andrade. Now, I'm sorry, that's my fault I didn't take Jessica Andrade. But check this out. This was the best bet I ever made against my pick. Mackenzie Dern is still my girl. I still want her over. But 5x Jessica Andrade KO. Single bet that one. That was money. Absolute money. I don't even care if I took Mackenzie Dern. I'm sorry for that. I should have definitely switched my pick and went for the underdog there. But, you know, I just didn't. That was just dumb because Andrade was the bet too, right? And I didn't even have that bet early for people. So, big mistake by me. And I kind of feel bad that I cashed in because I didn't have this play out early for people. Andrade KO. It was just a last minute thing. Like when they were walking out, I was like, no underdogs really hit yet. I'm feeling this one. Jessica Andrade KO. Dern's going to strike with her. She's going to try to strike with her. And she did. Terrible game plan for Mackenzie Dern. She did exactly what I thought. And like I said, if you listened to the early prediction show last week, I had a weird feeling about that one. And I pretty much convinced you to bet Jessica Andrade. So I know some people did cash in with me, thankfully, but not enough that I would have liked. I should have made Andrade my pick. Should have made her like an underdog of the week, you know. That was a good underdog. Looking at Bazooka, if you're looking at that and laughing already, terrible pick. Terrible pick. I know people that were taking Emmers in the Discord probably had some laughs after that one there. Bazooka, round 1, KO loss at home. Not good. Not a good look for me either. And my dog of the weeks have honestly been fade of the weeks. So the funny thing to do now would be to make a fade of the week on an underdog that I have somewhat confidence in, but just make him the fade of the week and then just go the other side. Because the underdog that I seem to be choosing is getting absolutely starched. And I think we can make some money taking the fade. So, any underdog this week that I kind of think has a chance, I think we might go the other way. So stay tuned for that. And what else are we going to talk about from UFC 295? What about the biggest favorite winning in round 1 by submission as forecasted? People in the comments were going back and forth. Some people thought that was a 100% lock-in play, and some people said, I've been doing this a while. I made X amount of dollars in X amount of days, and this wouldn't be a fight I go all in on. And the other fella that said this was a 99.9%er was 100% correct. We should have went all in on Rebecca round 1 and tripled our goddamn money. 100% should have. So the buddy that's been doing this for X amount of days and made X amount of dollars, enough of you. Enough of that nonsense. Those are just words from what I'm saying. Unless you're commenting shit that is 99.9% correct and it actually hits, none of that shit. None of that shit. This guy was a 5-1 favorite for a friggin' reason, and it's not every week these big favorites drop the bag. I'm sick of it. None of that. I should have bet Rebecca round 1, and I didn't, because this jackass in the comments section below. I'm done. Enough of that. On to the next. We're going to talk about the value props that crushed for 3x. Triple your money. Joshua Van and Steve Urseg. That was a sniper play by me. I'm stoked. I finally hit my value props. And this week I can just sense that I'm going to put in the work to make sure my value props are victorious. So get on that Discord for absolutely free. Get that early access. And if you want my bets, because we're getting our revenge, $5 a month, on Patreon right now. And the main card for UFC 295, the only thing to talk about was the biggest letdown for me, Sergey Pavlovich. I was so high on him, and all my buddies that were taking Tom Aspinall had to laugh at the end of the day because Pavlovich got knocked out in the first round. And I still have not done a shoey bet for that yet because I made Pavlovich KO my lock prop, and that backfired. Completely backfired. So stay tuned because I will do that shoey bet for Pavlovich not getting a knockout. I promise you that. I will do it. And it will be on TikTok. If you're not on TikTok, jump on TikTok right now because I give out free picks and I post shoey bets almost constantly. And everybody loves to see the shoey bets. And if you scroll down, you'll even see the pants beer. And I bet you don't see many people doing pants beers. And I'm sure all of you want me to do another pants beer. And since I said it and brought it up, I will do a pants beer on this card if one of my high confidence picks loses. So at the end of the show, I'm going to determine which fighter that is. And I'm going to make sure that's not a fighter that I'm making a lock of the week, because the locks are staying hot. And you guys are going to want to try to figure out who the lock of the week is, because I'm not going to give it to you this week. So keep your ears open and get that pen to paper right now. We're going to start it off with the prelim headliner, Jeka Saragih and Lucas Alexander. Alexander's coming in here as a 4-1 favorite. It's growing. He might even be a 5-1 favorite by the end of it. And looking into Lucas here, this guy's training with Lyoto Machida, Fusion XL with Rodolfo Vieira and Philippe Rowe. He's training with some pretty high-level guys. And then you look at Jeka Saragih. He was on the road to the UFC, lost to Ansul Jubli in the second round there. And we just seen what happened to Jubli and Mike Breeden there. So not a good look losing to Jubli in that one. He got controlled. He was inaccurate. He's super wild, but he does have some power. He has a little bit of power. Hard to say how much, right? Because he's fighting guys that are, 16-7, 7-2, 6-4. But they're all on the Asian regional scene. I don't know what they're like. And if he's going to get the submission, which is Lucas Alexander's weakness, Alexander has 3 submission losses. If he's going to lose, it's going to be that sub, in my opinion. But Jeka Saragih, he submitted a guy that was 1-5 now in the first round. I can't take that guy by sub. I think Saragih is lined up here to get slaughtered. Lucas Alexander, like I said, he's training with the likes of Machida, Lyoto Machida. I don't think he's going to lose this fight. He's stepping in here. I think Jeka Saragih was supposed to fight Jesse Butler. Butler, I don't know if he was lined up to win that one or what. But I think Lucas Alexander at this price is going to dominate. His power should play a factor in this fight, in my opinion, when he's trying to counter-strike here. His knockout wins aren't the best, but Jeka Saragih is going to come in here wild, with his hands down, uncalculated. I can trust a composed striker that has some power, has good takedown defense as well now. Lucas Alexander, 100% the play here. I don't think he's dropping the bag. On to the next. And next up, we have a very close price fight between Charles Johnson and Rafael Estevam. But, there's money coming in on Estevam. This is a guy that I was ready to make a lock of the week. But I thought to myself, should I make a debut fighter my lock? A lot of debut fighters lose their first fight looking at it. But since I already brought it up and stuff like that, I guess this is going to be the guy that I'll do the pants beer with. Because I don't want to make him my lock. I don't want to lose the streak. He's debuting. I'm high confidence in him. Very high confidence. I don't think he should lose. It's a fairly close price fight. But I see Estevam winning 9 out of 10 times. And we're going to get some good value. It's going to be a good bet. It's going to be on some parlays. So if this undefeated fighter from Brazil happens to lose, and I'm high confidence in him, I guess I'm going to do that pants beer. Because Charles Johnson, man, he has 5 decision losses. And he has good submission defense, but he gets taken down and he gets controlled. Now, this Estevam guy, he's a little bit different. He has some good ground and pound. He's going to be more hungry for a finish. 4 knockouts, 3 submissions, has went the distance 4 times. I can see this guy going the distance again. This is a step up in competition, stuff like that. But he has an impressive knockout against a guy that was 10-0 in the second round. He's been off for a year, so he's obviously been putting in some work. He's been off for 14 months since his Contender Series fight, so that's something to consider too. But I'm pretty confident he's going to get this one done. I can see the finish. I really can. There's going to be some value there. But because of the money line being 170 right now and money coming in, play this money line. I'm serious. Don't chase the finish. This is not one we chase a finish at all. Let's hope he gets the job done. And if he doesn't, I will do a pants beer. And next up, we got a fight that I'm going to probably stay away from here. Trey Ogden and Nikolas Motta. Motta, this is his last fight on the UFC contract. In need of a win here. Lost his last couple. Chin ain't looking good. 4 knockout losses. Trey Ogden, he beat Daniel Zellhuber. That was a big win for him. But his last fight, Ignacio Bahamondes picked him apart. I think Nikolas Motta is going to be hungry enough to get this done. I'm not confident at all. This is a close fight. I'm not going to bet this fight. But for the pick, I'll say Nikolas Motta. He's been putting in the work at Extreme Couture. He's with Jake Shields, working on his wrestling, stuff like that. I got to think he's going to be a little bit more accurate than his 34% strike accuracy. And he's going to try to land some power here. Get Ogden backing up here. I'm not sure if Ogden's going to sneak this one away with a win. He hasn't used his takedowns or his grappling. He's just standing there. His gym, Marathon MMA, has been producing some wins. Mike Breeden, Miles Johns. So this could be a good play for Trey Ogden, but I don't have a good feeling about this one whatsoever. Just avoid this one on the bets 100%. Please and thank you. On to the next. And next up, we got Lucie Pudilova and Ailin Perez. I'm leaning Perez on this one. I think she's getting this one done as a favorite, 150. Should be safe to parlay, honestly. Pudilova coming back after getting absolutely dominated in her first UFC run. 2-5 in the UFC from 2017 to 2020. They got rid of her. She absorbed 4 strikes a minute. This girl gets hit. She's inaccurate. And Perez, she is like a Khabib Nurmagomedov. She's relentless with the takedowns, and she's aggressive. I see her getting this one done with the high volume. Accurate striking too, 55% versus 37%. Wherever this fight goes, it's Ailin Perez. The Argentinian's getting this one done. Safe to parlay. And for the method of victory, I'm hard leaning that decision. Pudilova has 7 decision losses. Couple good ones in there. Irene Aldana, Lena Landsberg, Jocelyn Edwards. But Ailin Perez, she wasn't able to finish 6-5. Ashley Evans Smith got 10 takedowns and 12 minutes control, but wasn't able to finish her. She was only able to finish a 1-2 opponent by submission and a 4-5 opponent by head kick in round 1, and a debuting fighter in round 1. And then a 9-4 girl took her to round 2. So more likely than not, this is going the distance, and the favorite's getting her hand raised. And if you have not yet, please smash that like button and suplex the subscribe button. I appreciate everybody tuning into the forecast this week. We're going to keep that streak hot, and we're going to stay away from some fights that are going to be sketchy. And in this fight, I think Mick Parkin as a favorite is a little bit sketchy. Only because he's fighting Caio Machado, 8-1-1, got his contract on the Dana White Contender Series. This guy's hungry as hell. And as a dog, he believes in himself. So, he could be live. Mick Parkin, he isn't using his takedowns. He's not using his wrestling. And on the feet, his output isn't that high. It's really not. Machado's going to be super high output. He's going to slug away and push forward. He is a black belt in Muay Thai and kickboxing. And at 360, this guy could cash big here. Mick Parkin, he's trained with Tom Aspinall. He's accurate and he's technical, super composed. And I lean with fighters that are fighting with, a more calculated approach. And he's going to be the pick. He's a favorite. Probably for a reason, too. I think Machado, his wins are terrible. He beat a guy that was 56 years old, fought him twice. And then he beat a guy that was 45 and 36. Like, old slugs. He's not beating, young lads here. I think Mick Parkin's fighting the better competition. He's going to get this one done. But honestly, it's going to be a decision. It's going to be sloppy and greasy. I'm not looking really to bet this one, to be honest. If the bookies give us anything good, buy a decision over 1.5. Let's smack it. But it's not worth taking the underdog, honestly, because he fought dog water for competition. And in the Contender Series, the guy that was 11-1, that's a very padded record. So check that guy's record out. He hasn't been fighting very good competition. He's basically just getting layup fights. So the guy that was 11-1 that Machado beat, that wasn't really too hard for him in my opinion. And the other wins for him, like I said, they're all old tomato cans. Absolute dog water. Like 56 years old, 45. Like this should be a max bet for Mick Parkin, but at these odds, I think I'm just going to keep it a medium confidence pick. And we're going to move on to the next. Probably stay away from that one. And next up at these odds, you know what? I'm going to trust my balls this week, okay? We got a Canadian here against Jose Johnson. We got Chad Anheliger from Alberta, the Canadian boy. I was watching an interview with him, and he said his plan this week is to push forward early and find a finish. So he's going to come in here, and I think he's going to find a knockout shot in the very first round against Jose Johnson. This guy is not UFC caliber. He got Twister submitted to friggin' Damon Blackshear. He got submitted to a guy that was 16-4, 10-9. He got knocked out in the very first round to Manny Martinez. Okay? He has a decision loss to Ronnie Lawrence, but Chad Anheliger is going to push forward and be a lot more aggressive than Ronnie Lawrence was in that Dana White Contender Series fight. So Jose Johnson has something coming. This guy from Canada is bringing the storm in the very first round. I'm putting the hat on. Maybe this is the fate of the week. Maybe this is the lock of the week. You know, I'm going to sleep on this one, but I have some kind of confidence in my Canadian this week, Chad Anheliger, to find a finish by knockout or submission. I'm hard leaning the knockout because his submission win was to a guy that was 8-7. And he has a lot more knockout wins that come later in the fight after he's been applying the pressure. He's beat guys like Brady Heinstein, Jesse Strader, both of them in the third round. Both of them were 7-2 and 7-3. And Anheliger has knocked out some dudes, and Johnson's just going to be another one. Trust. Yeah, well, that just got exciting. Let's bust another shot because we got Jonathan Pearce, Joanderson, Brito. This is another coin flip on the card, and I don't want to stay away from it because there's going to be some serious value in whoever gets their hand raised. And I have a kind of strong lean in this fight here. What do you think about this? Jonathan Pearce getting knocked out in his UFC debut to Joe Lozon. You know? This guy can get knocked out here to Joanderson Brito, who won his last three all in the first round. Last fight was a layup, but listen, he knocked out Chepe Mariscal first round, knocked out Andre Fili first round. Those two guys, Mariscal and Andre Fili, are not easy guys to knock out. And they're not easy guys to calculate and understand how they're going to approach you. I think he's going to be able to pick apart Jonathan Pearce in the first round, find the knockout shot here. You know, I might be a little bit overconfident, but this shortfall is going to pack a punch, and he's going to get the job done, in my opinion. I'm pretty confident in the $2 underdog. Jonathan Pearce, man, he's just going to shoot takedowns. He's going to try to grapple. He couldn't finish Darren Elkins, 27-10, getting old. Wasn't able to finish Christian Rodriguez in his UFC debut. You know, two guys that he probably should have finished, in my opinion, if he's this big JSP character that he thinks he is. He thinks he's some GSP fucking legend, and he's nothing like it. I'm telling you, he beat Omar Morales by sub in the second round. And the guys he knocked out aren't even impressive. Kai Kamaka, 12-5. That guy's fighting in fucking Bellator. And then he has Amakwan Amerikani, 17-9. That guy's a submission artist with no striking. Like, no shit, this guy's on a fucking 5-fight win streak. 3 of them in the second round, 2 by a decision. Not even overly impressive. So, I'm going the other side here. Joanderson Brito. He might even be the dog of the week. I know it's $2, but they're giving me some plus money on Joanderson Brito. I think he's getting it done here. On to the next. And before I get going with the main card, let's get going with the shot. The Liquid Courage is going to come in handy this week because it's giving me confidence. A lot of confidence. And you know what? Taking Chad Anheliger there with that amount of confidence, I don't think I would have done if I was not a shot or two deep, alright? So, the Liquid Courage helps, everybody. I should have maybe took Andrade last week. And if I had the Liquid Courage shot, maybe I would have pulled the trigger. So let's see what we can do on this main card. First up, we got Johnny Parsons and Uros medic. And the doctor is going to save lives here. Okay? This is a guy that you don't want to bet against. Okay? This is a guy you want to bet for. I believe in Uros medic. I had him as a pick last time against Matthew Semlisberger. I even bet it by KO. A lot of people thought that was going the distance, but the thing is, Medic's really, really good on the feet. He's technical. He has high IQ. And if you try to strike with him, chances are you're getting knocked out. Johnny Parsons, with 7 knockout wins, no submission wins, is going to try to strike here. And he's probably going to get knocked out, okay? He's been knocked out twice before, 2013, 2018. But the guy in 2018 was 3-2-1. Okay? The slugger ain't doing any slugging here this weekend. He won his last 6, and now it's time for a loss. 4 of them by knockout, so obviously he's in love with his hands. But he knocked out a guy that was 10-8 and 12-8. So credit to him. He was probably going to get that one done regardless. And now he's going to fight a killer. Uros, the Doctor Medic, 9-1, 7 knockout wins. He has a spinning back fist in his last fight that dropped Matt Semlisberger. Shocked the world there, probably. Knocked out Omar Morales round 2. You know, none of the finishes are coming early, but once he gets his time in the second and third round, this guy is a serious problem. He's going to have a height advantage here, a pretty decent height advantage, and he's going to be 2 years younger. I think the UFC is setting this guy up here to win. 3-1 in the UFC against 1-0 Johnny Parsons. Parsons has a 44% strike accuracy, super inaccurate, 66% takedown defense. I'm not going dog on this one. I'm going with the accurate, sharp striker with a great defense. 58% strike defense. I think he's going to be so technical and land such a clean shot that just sleeps Johnny Parsons. And trust me, you're not going to want to miss your opportunity with this doctor. So make sure to get your money in quick. And next up, we'll quickly discuss Luana Pinheiro and Amanda Ribas. I'm taking the favorite here. She has far too much experience for this Pinheiro girl. Pinheiro won her last 2 fights by a decision, and now she wants to go the distance with a girl as experienced, as high volume, as accurate as Amanda Ribas, and as good looking. Okay, I'm not taking good looking as a biased bullshit pick this week. Amanda Ribas is not only good looking, but she has amazing control. Fight hits the ground, she's going to have the control. She's going to be the better scrambler. On the feet, she's going to be more accurate. She's going to have more volume. And she's definitely going to fight for your money. Luana Pinheiro, she's inaccurate at times, and her takedowns are inaccurate at times. So if you're going to fight a girl as experienced as Amanda Ribas, I don't think you're getting the takedowns. I don't think your strikes are going to be very accurate. This is a big step up for Luana Pinheiro. And Amanda Ribas is stepping down to strawweight, so I kind of like that a lot. I don't think she's going to find the finish now. She has a 3-inch reach. Her striking is kind of wild, and she can land some shots, but probably not anything too wild to get a knockout finish here or a TKO finish. I think this is one where she comes in here to strawweight, looks very good, and grinds it out. 15 minutes long, and gets it done unanimously. I don't think the finish is that likely. I see some people thinking Pinheiro is like finish or bust, but to think this girl's getting a finish after beating a girl that was 8-9 on the Dana White Contender Series and submitting a girl in 2019 that was 3-4 now is bonkers to me. And to put your money on a girl like that with wins like that just blows my mind. I need to say this again. She beat a girl that was 8-9 on the Dana White Contender Series, and her last submission win was to a girl that was 3-4. If you think Pinheiro's getting this finish, I don't even give a shit if Amanda Ribas got brutally finished in her last fight. She was fighting Macy Barber, and they went to war. And even though she got knocked out to Poliana Viana and Marina Rodriguez, like, none of that matters. She's a much better fighter, more accurate, better trained, better on the ground, way more experience, the younger fighter. This is Amanda Ribas' favorite all day. I can't even believe Pinheiro is being discussed to win this fight by a finish. If she does win by finish, I'm probably done forecasting. Just saying. And next up, we got a huge favorite, Payton Talbott versus Nick Aguiar. I might have butchered his last name. I probably butchered his last name. We're going to call him Nick. We're just going to call him Nick. Because people hate when I mispronounce names. And that's a last name that, for some reason, I can't pronounce right now. I haven't watched any tape on this guy. He's only fought once and he got dominated to Dan Argueta. But looking at the stats and looking at the odds, this guy ain't winning. And if this is a guy that happens to win, maybe I should quit forecasting because Payton Talbott should be the play. From what I have seen from Talbott after watching tape study. Yeah, I watched tape study on the favorite, not the underdog. But, the Contender Series wasn't that long ago. It wasn't hard to watch tape study on this guy, then just watch a couple of his highlights. He fights with a high output, very good combos and accuracy. As you've seen in the Dana White Contender Series, he's very sharp on the feet. And on the ground, he can stuff those takedowns. He stuffed like 17, 16 takedowns on the Dana White Contender Series. He went pro in 2021, and so did Nick. And I know Nick just experienced his first loss, but when I look at his competition on the regional scene, 0-7, 1-9, 7-4, 2-0, 1-1, 1-1. Yeah, I know 6 out of 7 were in round 1. He's doing what he's supposed to. But I don't like it whatsoever, man. 5 knockout wins for Payton Talbott. He knocked out a guy that was 8-1, 5-4, and 4-2. I think that's a little bit better. So he should be a little bit better on the feet. And then his only decision win was on the Contender Series there against Reyes Cortez, who was 7-2. And Cortez is actually Tracy Cortez's brother. So he did have a legit dance partner on the Contender Series, but just wasn't enough to find a finish. And against Nick, who's 7-1, coming off a loss, already had his debut, I can see this going the distance. I really can, and I can see the favorite winning this fight. And next up, we got the people's main event, Chase Hooper and Jordan Leavitt. This fight actually gets me intrigued. I'm going with the underdog, Jordan Leavitt, in this one. He got submitted to Paddy the Batty in round 2, and he has that decision loss to the youngster Claudio Puez, but, Chase Hooper, he's been win-loss since 2019, and he's due for a loss. He's 4-3 in the UFC, and he got absolutely dropped to Steve Garcia. So striking, might need some work. Has a decision loss to Steve Peterson, for frig's sakes. I thought he was winning that one, and he wasn't able to beat Steve Peterson. This guy has bad takedowns. He can be inaccurate, okay? And like I said, win-loss since 2019, due for the loss. I'm going to ride with it. I'm going Jordan Leavitt underdog here. He was a $3 underdog. He's now $2.75. I think at this point we just go all in on Jordan Leavitt, honestly. I think Hooper sucks. So, I'm serious. His 2 wins in the UFC are against guys that got released and cut from the promotion. His decision win is against 6-2 Nick Fiore, who very much disappointed me in that fight because I had Nick Fiore. But Hooper just had the higher volume of striking and he was super accurate. In this fight, I think he's going to struggle with the awkwardness of Jordan Leavitt. And Leavitt, trained at Extreme Couture, is getting some good mentorship. This is one where I have that weird feeling about, and I'm going to trust my balls. I'm going Jordan Leavitt as an underdog. I know these odds are way too wide, just like Mackenzie Dern and Jessica Andrade. So seriously, guys and girls, let's consider Jordan Leavitt as an underdog play here. I think he's going to cash in and make a lot of people happy, but maybe not. He has some losses to the youngsters. He has struggled against that younger competition, but with the mentorship at Extreme Couture, a.k.a. Sean Strickland, I believe he's getting this one done here. And he had 4 minutes control against Paddy the Batty and 5 minutes control against Trey Ogden. So expect the takedowns to come into effect here for Jordan Leavitt. Even though he's low volume, I think he's going to get the control, get a couple takedowns, and the dude's so awkward. You never know when he's going to find a knockout shot. He had that knockout slam on the Contender Series, and then that last fight, everybody was probably sleeping on this guy to win, and then he comes out and gets the knockout shot. Yeah, I'm done sleeping on Jordan Leavitt. I think it's time to take that free friggin' plus money. And next up, we're on to the co-main event. This one doesn't have to be a quick prediction. I might be going way too long with these predictions, but it is what it is. Michael Morales and Jake Matthews. This is a high confidence pick here. Morales is so technical, defensively sound. I don't see a world where he loses. And at this price, that is great value. Like, let's go back on the prelims and look at some other prices here. Lucas Alexander, $1.20. Okay. What's another wide one? Mick Parkin, $1.28. You know? Those two guys. And then you're looking at Michael Morales at $1.36. I'm way more confident in the $1.36 here. 15-0 from Ecuador. He ain't losing. He's set up to win 100%. I can guarantee you that. This could be another one where I want to do a pant spear with someone or with myself. But, you know, this might be a lock of the week, honestly. This guy here, I'm going heavy on him this week. Because this is a fight where I don't see where Matthews can win. He has 5 knockouts, 8 submissions, and 6 decisions. But recently, he couldn't even finish Diego Sanchez at 38 years old. So I don't think he's ever going to find a finish here. I know he found a finish in his last fight by a submission in round 2 against Darius Flowers, but come on. Darius Flowers is 12-6. What do you think Morales would do to that guy? Probably light him up in the first, just like he did to Trevin Giles. So this is a fight where Matthews is probably getting lit in the first round, just like Trevin Giles did. If he happens to survive, like Adam Fugit, and go to the third round, you know, credit to him. Shows his durability, but I think this one's going to be early. Honestly, round 1 KO, Morales. This is like a lock of the week play for me. I might even do 2 locks because I got some favorites that I have high confidence in. I even had high confidence in an underdog too, Chad Anheliger. But, you know, that could be a fade of the week play. It could be a dog of the week. We'll see what happens there. So make sure to join Discord for free, exclusive early access to the locks, dogs, and props of the week. And join Patreon for $5 a month for exclusive access to all the bets and early access to everything. And next up, we got Brendan Allen and Paul Craig. And Brendan Allen is a 4-1 favorite. I am having Grant Dawson flashbacks here. Oh my God. He's much younger. Same situation as Grant Dawson and Bobby Green here, honestly. Much younger. Should get the finish by sub. Huge favorite, like 4-1 favorite. This can't be a fight where Paul Craig can pull it out. It can't be. Like, it can't be. His striking is terrible. Terrible. And Brendan Allen's striking against Bruno Silva was much better, much improved. Almost found the knockout shot. Wow. The price tag is crazy, I know, guys. I don't know. I don't want to give you a very bad parlay piece here. Maybe we should stay away. Like I said, the co-main event and the main event has been sketchy, and it's let us down. Like last week, Pavlovich let me down. Right? I should have left it off the parlay. And then we're looking at a 4-1 favorite Brendan Allen. Like, I am having goosebumps right now as we speak. Paul Craig's a dude, man. Couple good submission wins for him. Y'all know it. Ankalev with that 1 second left. Kennedy Nezechiku in the third round. Nikita Krylov in the first round. He knocked out the former champ Jamal Hill in the first. Almost friggin' broke his arm. He did break his arm. It was an arm injury and then knocked him out. And then Andre Muniz beat him with elbows. And now they have him as a 4.33 underdog. That's insane. That's an insane price. But I gotta go with the dude Brendan Allen. I think Brendan Allen is actually going to knock him out, to be honest with you. Yeah, I know everybody's going to be chasing Brendan Allen by sub. I hope they do too, right? I hope the submission's like $2 or less. And then we can all jump on knockout Brendan Allen because Paul Craig's striking is not at the level of Brendan Allen's, in my opinion. Brendan Allen dropped Bruno Silva in that last fight. Almost knocked him out. So in this fight, like, I see it happening. You know, Paul Craig does not have good striking. It's inaccurate. Against Johnny Walker, his IQ looked horrible. There's no way I'm trusting a guy like Paul Craig in this matchup. His chin is terrible. 4 knockout losses. Alonzo Menifield, Khalil Roundtree, Tyson Pedro. And his one and only submission loss was to Jimmy Crute in round 3. So I think Brendan Allen is much better than Jimmy Crute. I think Brendan Allen is much better than Tyson Pedro, Khalil Roundtree, Alonzo Manyfield. And I think he's more technical and smarter than Johnny Walker, honestly. So Brendan Allen should be a max bet play. It should be safe to parlay. But because of the PTSD we all have from the co-main event and main event spots, maybe we leave it off. And we chase that value. If we can get it, we go Brendan Allen by knockout. Let's see what we can do on that. We'll talk about it on Friday on the final prediction, post-weigh-in face-off show. But I got a strong lean on it. Brendan Allen by knockout shot against Paul Craig. Paul Craig is inaccurate. And not only is his striking, but his takedowns are horrible. I don't see him getting a takedown in this fight. So that means he probably won't get the submission. I think Brendan Allen plays it smart, keeps it on the feet, and finds a 1-2 shot down the middle. Sleeps this dude. Sleeps him. Brendan Allen for the win, knockout, TKO, or DQ. Not going to be a DQ, though. It's going to be a big knockout shot, or the refs are going to jump in. 100%. I can see it happening. I've been seeing that happen all week. I can't wait to see what kind of odds we get with the bookies this week, because I'm going to take full advantage. And I'm going to destroy the bookies this week. Let's go get it, forecasters. Let's go get our money back from Bonfim and Pavlovich. But if you weren't on Pavlovich, cap off to you. You got your Tom Aspinall money. You would have had a great end to the night at UFC 295 if you had Tom Aspinall, because Pavlovich ruined my night. I needed him on my parlay. He was my most confident pick, I'm pretty sure. And I told the boys I was going heavy on Pavlovich. Thankfully, I didn't. I just kind of held back, took my wins, and then Pavlovich lost. It just seems to be every time I'm super confident in someone, they lose. Gabriel Bonfim and then Pavlovich. So I have to chase my revenge, but anybody that was smart enough to go Aspinall, they're sitting there laughing. They're happy with their win. So credit to you guys. Hope you all enjoy your win, but just know the Fight Fiend forecast is coming in hot, and we're chasing a big dub.